Okay, just a quick thought about Parshas Achrei that may be a little bit of message of hope for us after the big setback this week with the primaries. Right? Yeah, the pasuk says, "Bezos yavo Aaron el hakodesh." Right? It gives the whole seder of how you could enter the Kodesh HaKadoshim, on Yom Kippur. Because generally not, and you shouldn't be burnt up like the Bnei Aaron were when they, trespassed, when they were Karvas of Bnei Hashem, but when it wasn't warranted. This is how you do it. It's very interesting that the Seder HaAvodah of how to go into the Kodesh HaKadoshim, which includes the whole Seder of the Avodas Yom HaKippurim, which as a Kappar is opened up with the word bezos, with this. Bezos Yavar on HaKodesh. Right? And it's a very, very interesting, as it starts with bezos, with this. Even though it's not just, it's not just one thing. It gives a whole, Seder, it would be like one thing, would be easy to understand. In Pashup Pshat, this as in this one thing. But it's not. It's the whole thing with how he has to dress and with the Keteris and how to do it. It's not one thing. So why it's called Zeus. Right? With this, it's multiple things. It's all Seder. Which makes even the Pashup Shot very difficult. So no doubt, the Medrash has this on its mind and it starts darshaning. Medrash right there on the spot, like a lot of drushes of what Zeus, different mitzvahs that Zeus refers to. Now, we're not going to explain all of them, but I remember three of them offhand. Zeus B'schus HaShabbos. And it brings psukim where Shabbos is called Zeus. B'schus HaMila. And it brings Mila, so Zeus Brisi, and B'schus HaTorah. Three things amongst the whole list. And the Medrash brings psukim where each one is called Zeus. Right? So we're going to deal with Shabbos and Torah and Mila, which the Maharal invokes those studim in his Sefer or Ner Mitzvah rather, on Hanukkah, because these are things that Yevonim were geyser on.
Is it Zos Hanukkah?
And it has to do with Zos Hanukkah also. Excellent. It has to do with that Zos Hanukkah, the 8th day of Hanukkah. Excellent, Yaakov. It's the same. It's going to be an extension of the same idea. Right, the Maharal, points out the interesting thing that one Pach Shemen they couldn't get to was Munach B'chosamo Shel Kohen Gadol. It had the seal of the Kohen Gadol, and the Kohen Gadol goes with Nai V'Lifnim, and that's how the Maharal makes a connection. But of course we're going to go into the amkas of what the Maharal means over there, and what this means, generally speaking. Right, there's Zeus means this, but, we know that in Lashon HaKodesh, it's a very exact language, right? So now in English, you say this, so you just mean that object over there. You don't mean anything more than that, right? But, what there is to say, if you want to be saying this in the exacting way, which is how the terms of Lashon HaKodesh work, that's in a very exact language, right? So there's like this as in, what makes this, right? And this is a very big inyan that's discussed in physics and in philosophy. When you want to describe something, you say Hagdara in it. What are you describing? It's round, it's red, right? It's heavy, right? But all those things, that's not what it really is, right? Because there could be a lot of things that could also be round and red and heavy. It's not the only thing that's round, red, and heavy. Each one of those descriptions that you say about it, you can find somewhere else, right? You're not really, so you're going to discuss how it tastes. You're going to discuss, but all these things are just the symptoms, just the external signs, say it tastes salty. A lot of things taste salty. and taste is not what makes something important. Its color is not what makes something important, right? So you're describing something. You're describing what it the effect it has on your senses. Really the mahus, the essence, and I think it's been agreed upon that we really don't know the essence of anything. We just know what the way it makes the retina on the eye, how it impacts the retina on the eye, how it affects our eardrums, and what it tastes on our tongue. We know how it affects us. What it is, we don't really know. Right? Mahut. The mahut is ne'elam. Right? The essence is, hidden. Right? The real essence. We just know like it's symptoms. It's, the way, the effect it has on our senses, basically. And not more than that. And if our senses are wrong, like you're really colorblind, you don't know. How would you know? Maybe the whole humanity is colorblind, and the colors aren't really that color. So yeah. So those that say we don't know essence of anything, right? But the Torah, the Kayadu Istako Baraiso Bara Alma, the Torah Mamish is the essence of everything, and that's why the Nakuda called Zeus is the Nakuda of divine energy. Both in Prati, it's the Midah of Malchus Shamayim that is in everything, because everything is chelik of Malchus Shamayim. Kol masha bara kashvu lo bara'o elo lichvodo. Shneimar kol kashvu lichvodi barasav yitzarti v'afasisiv. Right, we know that the essence of something is the Midah of Malchus Shamayim that's in it. How it's Mechaber HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's its essence. And that's all could be found in the Torah, the pasuk in the Torah that it comes from, that mandated its existence, that's its essence. That's its real essence. Right? And now the difference between the symptom and the essence, right, is that, the symptoms, if I'm using the right word, right, its properties, it's, that could change. Right? That could change. The essence is always there. And that's what we talk about in chemistry, a famous law of conservation of matter. Mm-hmm. Matter can be neither created nor destroyed. But that's just the mahut of matter. But what it looks like, that's always changing. Right? It's out there. And you know why it's out there? Because the mahut, and I'll explain to you why this is true, for the reason that we're saying. The mahut of something is the divine energy, right? The divine energy, the divrei Torah, the midah of malchus shamayim, the kavod shamayim. That's its essence, and just like these things are all things of kedusha. That's why its essence can't be destroyed, even though it'll change form 1,000,000 times over. So all these things I say to be magdud, all those things will change, right? For lack of a word, we ate pepper steak tonight, So you would have described it as delicious, etc., because you're always a great cook, right? But now, now where is it? But it's not gone because it's going to be on your hips for the rest of your life, right? Just it's not going to, and everything you say to describe it's not going to be true anymore, But it's there, and your cardiologist is going to have to treat it, in a few decades' time, right? It's on the hips, it's in the arteries, There's shapes and forms. All right, but sorry for the crassness of that marshal, but the mahut of something. The reason why mahut is not batal, which we see the chitzonius of that with the law of the conservation of matter and energy, right? The mahut's not batal because the mahut is from kedusha, it's from ruchnias, right? The gashmius of it, is this in how it looks. That's really its chaimer, and that's constantly shifting form. Right? It's a davar nifla to be mizbonen in. Right? And the question is, you have to ask about any entity. You say Agdara, like the Republican Party, right? Right? Like, what makes the Republican Party? Is that a mahut? Is that an essence?
No, it's just something that changes.
That's why it changes all the time. It's just an idea. It's just an opinion, you know, and it could change. You know, it could change or it could cease to exist, as I fear it has, right? You know,
And many of us fear the same.
right? A lot of ideas or institutions or entities that this thing that everyone's excited about. Well, you ask what you're excited about. Well, it makes me feel good, and so they're talking about the symptoms. So that which they're excited about and that which they're willing to spend money on is something that's not kayam. About well, it looks great, it sounds great, it tastes great, it gets me excited, whatever. It's a popular idea. All these things could be different tomorrow, or it lose its pizzazz. So that means a lot of things that ideas or institutions or things that people are excited about. The whole thing that you're so excited about in your mind doesn't really exist, on a permanent basis. Just l'shah. Right? That's why things come, things go. There are whole nations like that. Civilizations that don't exist anymore. We're the Spartans, We're the Huns, we're the Vikings, right?
Yeah.
There was no mahut to them. It was just a fad. It was just a culture, lefi shah. A lot of products aren't out there anymore.
Like a mulek.
Amalek had never had,
Never ceased to exist,
Amalek has mamish no mahut, because at least these other nations, they got their mahut, whatever it is, got absorbed by other nations. Amalek is destined to be, totally removed from the earth. He has like no mahut behind him that will endure. But I'm just saying, with things like maybe the Viking, a lot of these things that people are excited about, or may take up a lot of pages in a history book. The reason why they're history and not the present, because that whole thing was just a fad. It wasn't a mahut. It's just a fad, just a symptom, just a color, just a flavor, just a craze of the moment, right? And like I said, there's whole nations like that. Now the Kuzri says this, Am Yisrael Chai, that Kalbach coined the phrase. It's like, yes, that's right. Kalbach, he coined, that phrase as it is, that Mamish caught on. And everyone knows, I think Kalbach coined the phrase, but the concept is in the Kuzri. It's something very interesting that both the Rambam and the Kuzri said parallel Mashalim about two parallel ideas. Am Yisrael and the Torah. Both of them say the exact same mashal, nifla mode. The Kuzri says about Am Yisrael. He calls Am Yisrael, and that's the living nation. The living nation. And he calls all the other nations dead nations. And he says the other nations, they look like a person, like a statue looks like a person. But the person's alive and they're dead. And, all the other nations, so they're just a cheap imitation of Am Yisrael. They're like statues, but Am Yisrael is the living person. That's the Kuzri writes. And interestingly enough, the Rambam in one of his Igris, gives the same mashal on the Torah. Says all the other religions, they'll all talk about, you say all religions are the same. They all talk about thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, and serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and don't eat junk food. Right? Everyone talks about that. Right? Right? Everyone talks about that. Right? So from the surface and looking from afar, all religions look like the same. Laws, morality, serve God. Right? He says, but Luma Davar Dome. Ram says, Marsh, the same Marshal Kuzri, but going on the Torah versus the other religions. That's from afar. It's like a statue from afar. It looks like a human being. Then you get up close, you see he's dead. There's nothing on the inside. And our Torah, the closer you get to the Torah, you see more and more depth, and more you see that the Torah is alive, because there's this infinite depth to it. Now, this difference between life and death, it's not a quantitative difference, it's a qualitative difference. That this chayim is the mahut, life, as in life, which is the anti of death, the anti of non-existence. That's the nekudat hamahut that we're talking about. Right? So Am Yisrael, the reason why Am Yisrael chai, right? And we're literally Am Yisrael chai. Karl Bach was right, because that's the Yisod Kuzri saying, we're still here, we're still here. Right? So they come and go, and Looks like we're going to outlive the Republican Party also, right? No, we're still here because we are be'etzim a nation. We're a living nation. It's not just a symptom of a bunch of guys that banded together temporarily and made a club together. That's what all the other civilizations are about. It's not an essence. Am Yisrael is a nation in essence. And it's something ruchni, because we're with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives us our nation. It comes from ruchnius. It comes from the Torah. The Torah also is not, it's not a way to manage life. It's not, advice for living. Torah is its own mahut to it. It's emes. It's an emes in its own right. It's an essence. Go ahead.
So, but our culture definitely changed. No question about it, right? When Klal Yisrael's culture changed, and also different takanas were set in place.
Yes.
Over time.
So excellent question, and I'll say that exactly proves our point, because what changed wasn't essence, but the kudus of essence have not changed. It's still the same Torah Shebachsav, same Torah Sheba'al Peh, right? The Torah has never been exchanged for a different Torah, right? And the essence hasn't changed. The branches, the colors, the packaging has changed, right? Yeah, and what you're saying actually is actually illustrating the point. What about Judaism has changed? What about Judaism has not changed? So I'll say anything that has changed is not in the kuda of essence. It's a branch. It's like you built off the essence, and you could build off the essence in a lot of different ways, right? You could build a lot, and then one generation did built off the essence in this angle. No, built the actual nekudos of axioms and essences have not changed. What we built on top of them changed, because what we built on top of them, that packaging that's built on top of them, even though it's legally binding during that door that wants it. Right, but it's not in the kud of essence, and it could change. Another door could do differently, but the axioms don't change. Still the same Taryag mitzvahs, still the same Talmud Bavli, still the same Tanakh.
So it's like a tree with many different roots. Shivim panim laTorah.
Yes. Yeah. So now the branches could branch out in a lot of different directions, but and some branches will be in certain generations, some branches won't be in other, but the essence will always be there. Right? The other nations don't have essence. They're just a bunch of guys that banded together, made a nation together. It's like they made a corporation. Corporation could be dissolved, because a corporation is not an essence. It's an artificial thing. Nations have been dissolved. Okay. So Am Yisrael's not that way. And now it goes a little bit deeper. If your whole personality, whether it's the personality of a nation, like the global personality, like a national ethos, or it's your own, for that matter. Everything you say about how you magdi yourself is, I'm X, Y, and Z. I'm tall and handsome. Oh, that's, well, if that's all you are, it's not going to be anything left of you even in 10 years from now. When you're, when you're fat and, and whatever, and then your wife leaves you, and, you get fired, right?
Live with Bayswater.
Right. That's right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. There's like whole people like that, and the whole nations like that. Have everything you say to Magdur, if that's the Agdor, it's not going to be true in even 10 years. It may not even be true anymore tomorrow. Right. That means that this person could be mamish even in his own lifetime, forgotten and over bottle. Right. Even though he's technically biologically alive. Right? Right? What makes Am Yisrael different? And it's also, this Nikud of Tshuva, this is a very important point, is how we're getting back to Yom Kippur. This is the yesod behind Tshuva. The yesod behind Tshuva is, I have a good essence that's indestructible. There's an aspect of me that's living, walking, Malchus Shamayim, Kvod Shamayim, exists L'Shem Shamayim, right? And even though I sin, that's not the real me. So people will touch me up as a Russia, but that's not my essence. That's what I do. That's what I look like. That's what I sound like. That's the impression that I make. You could get rid of that. You could get rid of that image. You get rid of that image and go back to the nakuda of pure goodness. If that's your essence, right? And that's true by Am Yisrael. Am Yisrael has a good essence. The same thing that makes Am Yisrael chai. Am Yisrael that has a Torah, that's a Torah's chaim, right? That ensures that Am Yisrael has a good essence, right? And that's what makes Am Yisrael could always do tshuva, always go back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The other nations of the world, they built themselves, their whole ethos is built on their rishas, the glory that is Greece, the grandeur that was Rome. I talk about what was glorious, what was how they pushed other people around, conquered other nations, picked on the weak, thought they were better. Yeah, Hitler. So
Obama.
Yeah, right, right. So all these nations of the world, they know they're so jealous of Am Yisrael because they know that they don't have an essence. They're living high on the hog right now. But it's living high on the hog. How long does that last? Till the hog dies, right? Right? And that's what drove the Yevonim crazy about Am Yisrael. All the glory that was Greece. They realized there's no mahut to it. It's a flash in the pan. You make a big campaign, build a wall. We spoke about that in another forum we gave tonight. Okay, you make a big campaign, and when people start, getting excited about that campaign, the jingle doesn't speak to them anymore. You have no one left to insult anymore. The whole thing is, goes up like smoke, right? Disperses like smoke, disperses, right? So Am Yisrael has a bechina called Zeis, and the Indian of these three mitzvahs befrat. Torah, like we explained, because Torah is essence. Torah is not just it's not something that was a bunch of statues that a bunch of people drew up that could change tomorrow. It's emes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's an essence, and really is the essence of all the olamas, because everything is because it says in the Torah, "Stako baraisa bara alma." Torah is an essence, right? So it's Torah's emes, because the truth stands forever, and it's a Torah's chaim, living and undying. Torah, right? Bris Milah. That's really the hesber. Bris Milah is all about, it's not just one more mitzvah. Because a lot of things we could argue about mitzvahs, that's what I do. Maybe it's not what you really are, right? But there's one mitzvah that's mamish, not what we do, it's connected what we are. And that's the Bris Milah. And it's very interesting, Mishnah in the Dorim. A person says, I'm mudar ana chasron. A person says he's not going to have hanoah from any muhulim, anyone with a bris. He's osur in all Jews, even if that Jew did not have a bris milah. And he's mutter in all goyim, even if that guy underwent a circumcision. You see that the shame being mohul is only by Am Yisrael, whether he has a foreskin or not. And it goes the other way around also. I'm mudar ano from all Arelim, the guy says, that guy says, he's osur in all goyim, even if that guy, had a bris milah, technically, because he had did it in the hospital, right? And then he's mutter in all Jews, even a Jew who didn't do bris milah because his parents never gave him one. Because you see, the shem mohul goes together with the nekudas ha'etzem of Yisrael, and that's the pshat in that famous Gemara. Everyone knows David Melch was in the merchatz, he was in the bathhouse, and he felt oru min mitzvahs, naked. He's not doing no mitzvahs. Niskar b'milah. But I have bris milah. I'm still connected. So even though I'm not doing, because doing is what you add to yourself. But I am. I have a mahus that's connected to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's it. So even though he's not doing the mitzvah of bris milah at that moment, his parents did that mitzvah when he was a kid. And now he's, this is years later, decades later. He's not doing the mitzvah. Milah is connected that a Jew has an essence that's kosher and HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
So that's the whole point for Bris Bein Basar, to be able to connect you directly to God by something you have. You don't have to, tzitzis or anything else, regardless.
It's
of who
an
you
essence. It's not a maisa, because a maisa, once it's done, it's in the past. Yeah.
Interesting.
It's an essence. It's an essence. Mitzvah is what we add to ourselves. Milah is connected our essence. Right?
Is it more of an essence than Torah itself? Because Torah also could be.
I mean, these things all come from, they come from the same shurish on the, bris is gematria 612. Yes, so bris with the koilo is 613. These things come with, they come from the same shurish, from the same root. And that's what Shabbos is. Shabbos is not just a mitzvah to keep Shabbos. Shabbos is an essence. Right? Right. Shabbos is, it's makor habracha. It's the point of source of blessing for the whole world. Meaning everything, all the days get their koach from Shabbos. It's the nikud of essence, because on that day nothing was created. So what is it? Nothing was created on Yom HaShabbos. No, Shabbos is the day of essence. It's, because the essence is not a maisa, it just is. It just is holy. It is. It is. It's vayikadosh oso. It. Right? It's just essence. It's holy by its essence, and it's the makor. It's the makor habracha for all the other 6 days. They all get their koach from Shabbos. Right? And that's the pshat. Am Yisrael, who is the nation of essence, they have the Torah, they have the bris milah. God says, I'm going to give them Shabbos. And the goyim, I'm not going to give Shabbos. Knesset Yisrael yeh ben zugach. Matan Torah yishbir Shabbos. No, it's God's gift to the Jewish people. Shabbos is God's day, because Shabbos is His day. He is the essence. So Shabbos is the day of essence. He gives it to Am Yisrael, which is the Am of essence. The goyim don't have Shabbos. Goy Shabbos Chayav Mitzvah. They don't have essence. They're branches of reality, and those branches could be cut off reality. We're the Am of essence, and that's why we have Shabbos. And that's why the Yevonim went haywire. Guys are against these mitzvahs that show that Am Yisrael has the essence. Because all their glory is chitzonius. They don't have essence. It's all branches. It's all packaging on the outside. Right? And that's what it means, that b'schus these things, we go into the Kodesh HaKadoshim. What's in the Kodesh HaKadoshim? You go back to Nakuda of essence. The whole Bria is bottled there. What do you have there? You just have the Nakuda of essence. Because what's in the Kodesh HaKadoshim? The Even Shesiyah. Shem Misham Husam, the point of origin of the whole world is there. That's the Nakuda of essence, is in the Kodesh HaKadoshim. The holiest of holy is, it's removed. The whole Bria branched out from there. The whole Bria branched out from there. And that's why, also it didn't take up space. Ha'orom min amid, the Oron which was there, didn't take up space. It's outside of time and space. It's the essence from which time and space branched out from. The whole time and space that we know is just branches and packaging. The Nakud of essence is there. We could go in there. And we do it on the day that we do tshuva. Tshuva is everything bad that we did is not the real us. It may be our packaging, it may be what we look like. Right? But it's not who we really are. It's not who we really are. So that's the bezois. We whittle it down to the Nakuda of essence. Bezois. All these 3 bits are called zois. The Nakuda of essence. And, Am Yisrael is the Am that has an essence to it. And that's the essence that could always come back. That's the essence that's eternal. Everything else about us, which is our bad side, that could be whittled off and whittled away, cut away, disassociated from. The other nations of the world, those things, what make them what they are. If Donald wouldn't be, insulting people and doing the other stuff, he wouldn't be Donald. If he'll be presidential, he won't be Donald. Right? And I think that's why,
So the avodah of Yom Kippurim is basically to go back to the essence. And
Go back to the essence.
Get rid of all the other stuff.
Yeah, you just drop everything else off. That's the end of the Sirah Azozos. That's your bad side, And that's what it means. Vayavai Boker Yom Echad. Yom Echad, the day of one. So Chazal say that's a remiss to Yom Kippur. Because on the first day of creation, there was nothing except pure essence, just the potential for everything. That Yom Echad is Yom Kippur. The whole world was just underwater. Right? Nothing branched out yet. And on Yom Kippur is to go back to the pure Zeus. That's why it's also b'schus these mitzvahs, to go back to the pure essence. Right? And that's ultimately happened to Nodav. Nodav, it's all Achrei Mos. They want to get so close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they got so close that they got burnt up. Right? but their essence endured. But their essence had to get its tikkun in a form that could endure. Right? So the Zohar says that when Pinchas came to kill Zimri, the neshamas of Nadav Avihu went into him. Right? And helped him complete. That's why he got a din of a coin, because they were Kohanim, because he had their neshamas inside of him. Right? And what did Pinchas have to do? He was a kanoi for the bris. Zimri was mefer bris. To be with a shiksa is a pagam in the bris, which is the essence. Now the special din of kanoi and pagim bo is that it's not a psak. It comes just from a reaction. Because if Pinchas would have asked Moshe to do it, Moshe would have said no. Because it's halacha ve'ein morin ked. We don't pass on someone to do it. It has to be from himself. The essence, you reject it because you feel it down at the core of your being. It's not a halacha. Zimri, had the right of self-defense. The kanoid who wants to kill the guy who's with a shiksa, the guy, the Baal Avera is allowed to defend himself. It's mamash not halachic. It's not a law. It's not another mitzvah. It's something that breaks the rules, because the kanoi technically has a din of a roidif. It's something that it's outside of the framework, because framework is the branches. It's from the etzem nekud of essence, and that's how it's come. The Jew just has to feel from the core of his being a revulsion to what's going on, and so that's why that was their tikkun. They didn't have patience, as it were, for protocol. All the branches and all the rules and all the, but they were chayiv to keep the halacha. So their tikkun was when you have the halacha of kanoim pogimo, which is supposed to be something that just comes, it comes from the essence and breaks all the rules, right? Breaks, okay, and through that, the tikkun was, the further tikkun is that Pinchas became Eliyahu Navi. Eliyahu Navi who never dies. Eliyahu Navi, that his job is to preserve things.
Preserve the essence.
Preserve the essence. Yehei munach ad shav Eliyahu. Tishbi Tarsu, all the things that we think are forgotten, he brings back. And Tchias HaMesim al Yedei Eliyahu. He's going to perform Tchias HaMesim, Lasid Lavo. It's going to be through him. He brings the essence back. The indestructible essence, he's the one who taps into it. And that's why he is Eliyahu Malach HaBris. He goes to every bris milah. Right. It's connected to the Nakuda of essence. As where Nadav Avihu got whittled down to the Nakuda of essence, it was done in a tzura of onesh because you have to go with the protocol, right? And it pays for protocol, but they found their tikkun because since they're machav l'shem shemayim, so I found an ofen for them where that's the right thing, that you just go straight from the yearning that comes from the core, right? Right, and ultimately becomes Eliyahu Navi, who is connected that Nakuda, the Kista, the Chiyusa, the pure life force, right, that endures forever. Right? And that's our message, Republican Party, may be over, right, and that is a conservative movement, but the essence of the Drisha, the seeking of liberty, right, religious liberty, Cherus, everything. Like Chag HaPesach that we just spoke about, right? Chag Cheruseinu, right? Freedom from taiva, freedom, from religious persecution, right? That's in the Nakuda of essence. That's why B'chol Davar Dachayav Dam Liros Satzmo, we're Be'etzem B'nei Chorin. Even if it doesn't look that way because we're in Golis, we're Be'etzem B'nei Chorin. And that Nakuda of essence is never bottled. I should help you out the Nakuda of our Zeus. All right, our Zeus, right, will yet have its expression, and we'll yet see, the Geula Shlema Bimhera B'Yameinu.
How do two people have different essences?